Hey, welcome to another video, and also welcome to the beautiful campus of IIT
where some of you might turn up
Okay.
sometime if you are leaving UC.
So this video is going to be all about the day of the examination itself, and if some of you are going to write UCEED this year, you should probably start relaxing now, not because we're here,
but because you should.
Yeah, the examination is on the 20th of this month. That is a week from now, exactly 1 week from now. You should have done all of your research by now.
And it's time to relax, stay calm, and look forward to the exam.
Yeah, there's nothing more that you can really learn in this time that'll help prepare you for the exam better. So this is the time to stop, relax. The examination is all about keeping your calm.
So we'll be discussing how to go about the paper and different sections. But the key is to stay calm. I've seen a lot of people panicking during the exam and looking around what to do. I don't know how to solve this question. No, that's not how it works. It's a aptitude based examination, and the key to it is to stay calm and solve it properly. So the first thing you do on the day of exam is go through the instructions, especially the negative marking part.
The negative marking is very specific, and so far all of the papers have had different negative markings. So whichever one is for you, pay attention to that and keep that in mind when you solve the questions. So there are 3 parts to the question paper. The numerical answer type questions, multiple select, and multiple choice questions.
So the first and most challenging part is the numerical answer type questions.
You don't need to know much to solve these questions. It's more about simple logic, and you have to use your brain to solve these.
This is the most aptitude part of the question paper. And
it's there to test your design aptitude. But the questions will take time to solve, and you do need to use your brain. So
the questions here are like rabbit hole. You might end up spending half an hour on one question. So you have to be very careful. Keep your eyes on the timer when you are in this section.
Yeah, you might see one question and like, oh, this is easy, I can do this, and then you pour 10 minutes into it, and then you'll be like, well, I've already spent 10 minutes. And you'll keep going and waste a half an hour there.
Keep it as a thumb rule. If you feel that this is taking too much time, skip the question for now. You can come back to it anytime.
Which is something you can apply for the whole examination itself. If there's something you don't know or something you feel like you can't solve, let it be, move on.
You will be given a rough sheet and just write down the questions which you feel you can do but you don't have the time right now. So just write down those question numbers and you can get back to them later if you have the time. We thought that we can categorize the questions in this section under few heads. So they are 3D visualization. 3D visualization is more about the giving 3D objects to you. Some of you might be familiar with the opening the box kind of things. So all of these come under 3D visualization. You might have to cut the box, figure out from different angles. The second one is patterns and geometry. This section is a bit difficult to explain because you can expect all kinds of different patterns, any kind of shapes, even things to count,
like overlapping shapes, really, like overlapping rectangles or squares or triangles, and they'll ask you how many are in here, and so you have to really think and count them properly.
And the third one would be, I guess, puzzles. So I did not explain this. There are a lot of puzzles. That section is quite interesting.
And another big section is fonts and characters. That give you a bunch of words all in different fonts, and differentiate between them, or a bunch of characters, how many iterations of each character there are in this grid. It's questions like these where you don't really need to know anything. You just need to be able to think and differentiate between. You might think you need to know fonts to solve these, but you don't
I do not
really
know fonts.
Yeah, you don't really need to know typography. Just look at the words and do your thing.
Another important section is basic mathematics. Since it's a numerical section, so you should expect mathematics there. What we have seen is probability and statistics. If you are good at permutation and combinations, the question will be very easy for you.
So that's most of the numerical answer type. There might be some 1 or 2 questions at max, some tidbits from English and current affairs, but mostly the above. 3D, patterns, geometry, puzzles, math, and fonts and characters. Moving on, the second most challenging section is the multiple select questions. There are 4 choices and 1 or more might be correct. The thing here is you have to go back and keep checking yourself, checking your answers whether they're correct.
You have to do a kind of reverse engineering. Like you have to take each of the option and you see if they fit in the question somehow.
Yeah.
Like it is a very tedious and deceptive part of the like.
It's very
paper.
hectic. Yeah. Take your time with this section. If you miss out one option, you lose all your marks. I mean, you won't get any marks for that.
And if there is negative marking, obviously you will lose marks.
Yeah.
At my when I gave the UCEED in 2016, and we had negative marks in all the sections. So even though like 3 of the choices were correct and one of them was correct and I said it was not correct, I lost marks.
Yeah. So pay attention. Take your time. Questions in this section come from. Arts and architecture, yeah, like history, like traditional, mostly, like traditional styles of art and architecture.
If you know
painting.
about the Indian heritage, then you can easily tackle those problems.
You can tackle them. And English.
So you should know your grammar very well. Okay. They don't want to learn grammar.
English grammar and English spelling. Usually, like grammar and spelling, right?
Yeah. We also have these long paragraphs and essays and true and false. Like if you prepare for, like most of you are preparing for JEE from what we know. So if you also prepare for BitSat paper, then this section, like these things will be very easy for you because you will find very similar questions in the BitSat paper.
Oh, one more thing that's important. The general awareness.
You know more about things. Like pay attention to everything around you and you are aware. It's not about general knowledge, not remembering the name of the artists and all. No, like just be aware that such artists exist.
And well, this is, I mean, they can literally ask anything, not just design awareness. They can ask you about pretty much anything that's going on. Current affairs. Stay up to date with.
They even asked the question about El Nino in my year, so which is like social studies 8th standard.
Right, and design awareness. Stay up to date with designers, products, like
and architects around the world.
Yeah, architects.
I would suggest you all to read some articles about design, what's happening in the world, especially product design and architecture. There are a lot of online stuff available you can look into. This will definitely help you.
That's also fun to do, which you should have done by now.
Yeah, which see all of what we are saying like. But we are assuming people will watch this video next year as well, so it will be helpful for you.
Yeah.
Another thing which you people should know as designers is color theory and camera handling photography. There weren't too many questions about these things, but you should know them as designers, and you should expect these questions this year maybe.
And things like color theory is something it's good to know as a designer, and camera handling is just good to know as a millennial or like a human being.
For the camera handling part, it's good if you have a DSLR. If not, just you can search for online websites which can simulate what a DSLR can do. You can change the aperture of the things, change the shutter speed of the things, and try different lenses, and you can see.
Yeah. Or just watch some videos. So, like pretty much any video out there is good. There are 3 things to camera handling. I mean, to getting the right exposure, which is what taking a picture is all about, which is shutter speed and aperture and light sensitivity. And most of the videos out there, it's pretty simple. So most of the videos out there, explain it
very nicely.
Yeah.
So like, if you have a very basic idea about these things, you can answer these questions very easily. And color theory is another thing like which I don't want to go too much into it. Just look it up. You will find it very easy to understand. Very nice.
There aren't too many questions either, so it's not urgent right now. It's just something you should look up as if you want to be a designer. Finally, there will also be some questions, very few, from basic science, like even physics sometimes. Don't expect there to be a lot of them. If there's one, that's rare.
If you are preparing for JEE, that would be very easy for you.
Yeah.
It will be mostly about reflection and all.
Yeah, and mechanics, that's something they could ask. So this is just a non-exhaustive list. They could add pretty much anything. Something from the numerical answer type, they could ask a simpler version of that.
So we would suggest you to solve some puzzles. You can find them in any book. You can find a lot of puzzles online. Strategy games also help a lot in this because there are some questions which involve that. So if you are good at that, if you can solve such type of questions in a short amount of time, that would be very great for you.
So the last part is incidentally the simplest to answer. It's the multiple choice questions. There's only one choice that is right out of 4. This section is a mix of pretty much all of the other sections. You can expect questions from anywhere with any frequency, but they will be simple to answer. You won't need to think too much. They'll be either think a little bit and a simple logic, get the answer, or it's a general awareness kind of question where you need to know something to be able to answer that question.
So if you were solving the questions in the order, like from section A, then B, then C, this should be very simple for you. Like I prefer the way of solving it like in the order given, because the first one is the most challenging one. You have to spend a lot of time on each of the questions, and you don't have any options, so you have to do the math and get the answer right. In the second one, you are given like 4 choices, and any of them can be correct, so like you are in the flow, like you are looking out for answers, so you can be easy. And the last one is where you just have to find one answer, so that should be very simple. And another thing is, if you follow this method and you are at the you have been past like 2.5 hours and you just have like maybe 20 minutes left, so what you can do is you can go very fast through the last section, which you can't if you are solving the paper the other way around. If you are in the first section, you can't solve the questions very fast, so this would be very helpful if you follow this method.
There are basically 2 approaches that you can follow, either the given order or the reverse order. And as Max said, if you're in the given order, you'll have solved all the tough questions first, and like you'll be in the flow, and you can at the end you can just tick off the simpler ones. Or if you go in reverse, first you solve the simple ones, you tick them off one by one, and then you go up to the toughest part. Max approach is pretty much, well, it works for me. I don't know what works for you.
To each his own.
To each his own.
But whatever, we won't suggest anyone to start with the second section, the multiple select ones.
Yeah, that's a really, like you said, it's a tedious part of the paper, and there's not much to think, there's not much to know either, but like you will have to go back and keep checking yourself, which is not that much fun, and not like something.
Each question is like 4 questions there, because there will be 4 answers and you won't be sure like if all of them are correct or not.
That's not something you start with, that'll just drain all of your energy if you start with that at the very beginning.
So like you might have seen, we were walking inside a building, and right now we are at the design department, and we hope to see you people here.
That's pretty much all we had to say about the paper.
Like some people don't have a center in this city. I've seen people who reached to the other town or other city on the day of the examination, and they were tired and they could not concentrate on the exam at all. So that should not be the case. Even if it's in your city, like sleep well on the night, don't panic, don't just try to relax and be calm for the examination. It's a big day, so you should be calm.
That's about it. Good luck with your exam. We'll be coming live exactly 1 day after the exam, because NIFT is happening on Sunday, So we'll be coming live somewhere in the evening, and you guys can just come and discuss about how the examination went. You'll meet some of your
competitors.
Yeah, you'll meet some of your competition in this exam. So stay posted for that, and we'll see you guys then. Good luck. Hope you don't mess anything up.
If you have any questions, or if you want to ask us anything, you can message us on Instagram or comment on this video, and we'll be waiting for you guys.